They were trying to compel people to say he was the greatest. Michael Jordan didn't say that about himself. Kobe Bryant didn't say that about himself. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't say that about himself. Bill Russell didn't say that about himself. Tim Duncan didn't say that about himself. Nobody said that. Nobody but him.
One man carved a legacy so legendary the sport had to salute him, while the other is still climbing, shouting for the world to notice he belongs beside him. Stephen A. Smith just dropped a truth bomb so sharp it could slice this debate in half, and if you've been stuck hearing the same recycled arguments and the same tired stats, this might finally give you some real clarity. This isn't about tearing down greatness. It's about separating legends who earn their crowns from the ones who keep campaigning for them. Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. The debate that refuses to disappear. But here's the part nobody wants to admit. This stopped being a debate a long time ago and turned into a rescue mission. LeBron's circle has been trying for years to build a legacy, the game itself never fully stamped as official. Every new record he hits comes with a headline. Every milestone turns into a promo run.
Every time LeBron does something, if Jordan wanted to, he would have done it.
I didn't say
if
that.
he's what you said he was.
Every accomplishment is instantly compared to Jordan's, like someone's trying to convince us of something that should already be obvious. If the claim was truly solid, there wouldn't be this constant need to push it, because Jordan never needed approval, never needed validation, never needed his crew posting highlights the second he stepped on the court. He just played, dominated, took over the league twice, and when he stepped away, he left the entire basketball world scrambling in pieces both times. Meanwhile, LeBron's whole career has felt like one long campaign speech, and the cracks in that campaign are starting to show. Because greatness that needs constant defending isn't the kind that lasts forever. It's the kind that fades as soon as the mic turns off. Stephen A. Smith has been sounding this alarm for years, and now he just dropped a set of quotes so sharp and so detailed, they break down the LeBron GOAT case piece by piece. 12 statements that cut straight through the noise and expose the uncomfortable truth: Jordan is untouchable, LeBron is still reaching, and no matter how long he plays or how many points he puts up, that gap isn't closing.
Jordan was the first 40-year-old to drop 40. That's number one. LeBron James is in his 22nd season. That was the 78th time in his career he has scored over 40 seasons. How many 40-point games did Michael Jordan have? 173.
If you're ready for the real conversation, then tighten up, because we're diving straight into the truth. No fluff, no filters, just the cold reality that separates true legends from the ones built through hype. The elephant in the room is simple: self-proclamation. LeBron James and his inner circle have spent years pushing one storyline: that he's the greatest of all time. Not hinting at it, not suggesting it, declaring it loud, non-stop, and with full force. And that alone tells you plenty. Because in the entire history of basketball, not one all-time great ever needed to do that. Michael Jordan never called himself the GOAT, not once. He let those 6 championships talk for him, and his perfect finals record screamed the rest. Kobe Bryant, a man who lived the game like it was oxygen, never crowned himself either. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar held the scoring record for nearly 40 years with 6 MVPs and 6 rings, and never needed a campaign. Bill Russell stacked 11 championships and let his rings tell the whole story. Tim Duncan quietly won 5 titles and 3 finals MVPs and didn't say a word. His game spoke louder than any speech ever could, but LeBron couldn't wait. He stepped right in front of the camera and declared himself the greatest.
LeBron James, there's only one player we look at and we say definitively we think was better. And that was Michael Jordan. They were trying to compel people to say he was the greatest. Michael Jordan didn't say that about himself. Kobe Bryant didn't say that about himself. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't say that about himself. Bill Russell didn't say that about himself. Tim Duncan didn't say that about himself. Nobody said that. Nobody but him. Steph Curry hasn't said that about himself. Steph Curry has never called himself the greatest shooter of all time. Ray Allen never called himself the greatest shooter of all time. Reggie Miller never called himself the greatest shooter of all time. Allen Houston never called himself the greatest shooter of all time. Nobody called themselves the greatest in anything but that man and his camp.
And his camp echoed it while friendly media turned up the volume. Every time someone questions it, they act offended, like the world is disrespecting him by not signing off immediately. But that's not confidence, that's pressure. That's strain. That's a legacy trying to hold itself up instead of standing on its own. Real greatness doesn't need a PR team or a checklist of talking points. It's undeniable, and it's untouchable. because the work speaks louder than any promo ever could. Look at Steph Curry, the man who completely rewired basketball with his shooting and broke records people thought were impossible. He never once called himself the greatest shooter of all time, but everyone else says it because his game makes the argument for him. Ray Allen held the record before Steph and never crowned himself either. These guys understood the code when and Stos. When you're truly the best, the world handles the announcement. You don't have to say a word because the proof talks for you. LeBron broke that code when he looked at history, saw the throne, and instead of letting the game place him there, he tried to grab it on his own. His circle hyped it, the media pushed it, and suddenly we had highlight reels, think pieces, and carefully selected stats flooding the timeline, all trying to rewrite something everybody already knows. Jordan is the standard, always has been, always will be, and no amount of self-promotion can rewrite that. And if you want the numbers, let's talk dominance. Because 40-point games show who really controls the floor when it matters most.
All I know is your man got 7 more years in the league and still chasing Jordan. 7 more years. He don't even have more rings. Been in the league long enough that I was in college. And still, he ain't catch Jordan.
And still get him there.
Michael Jordan had 173 games with 40 or more points, and he did that in just 15 seasons. 2 of those seasons were comeback years after retirement, and 2 more were in Washington when he was way past his prime playing on bad knees simply because he loved the game, which means Jordan's true peak. It happened in about 11 seasons, and he still racked up 173 40 pieces. LeBron James, in his 22nd season, just hit career 40-point game number 78. 78. After 22 years, he's had 7 more seasons than Jordan. More possessions, more chances, more everything. And he's still not even halfway there. 7 extra years, and still trailing by nearly 100 games. LeBron has stretched his career across multiple eras, leaning on modern training, sports science, load management, and every advantage today's NBA can offer. And even with all of that working in his favor, he still can't match what Jordan did in a shorter and way tougher window of time. Jordan didn't need 2 decades to prove he was the alpha. He walked in and started tearing the league apart on day 1. For Jordan, 40-point games weren't celebrations. They were just another regular night. LeBron drops 40 and suddenly it's treated like a national event. Social media goes crazy and the GOAT hashtags start flying. When every big performance has to be hyped up to keep the storyline alive, it means the performances themselves aren't loud enough. Jordan did all this in an era where defense was straight up punishment. Hand checking was legal, hits were harder, and flagrant fouls were just play on. The league was physical, rough, and unforgiving. LeBron has played in a world where touching a shooter's hand is a foul and offense is boosted by the rules. And even with all that tilt, LeBron is still chasing. Greatness shows early, and Jordan proved that the second he entered the league in 1984. He didn't need time to develop, didn't need veterans to teach him how to win. He walked into Chicago, a franchise with no real success, and flipped the whole thing upside down. By year 3, he was averaging 37 a night. By year 7, he had his first championship. Then it turned into dynasty mode, upping 6 rings in 8 years. LeBron entered the league in 2003 with the most hype anyone has ever seen, called the Chosen One, and still spent 8 years trying to figure it out in Cleveland. He made the finals once in 2007 and got swept. Not just beaten, but completely outmatched. No killer instinct, no answer, nothing. After 8 years of trying and coming up short, LeBron did something Jordan would never do. He left. He ran from Cleveland and teamed up with Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami. That's where he finally learned how to win. But that's not greatness. That's tutoring. Jordan didn't need to leave Chicago to learn how to close. He carved his path through fire and built everything with his bare hands. LeBron needed a blueprint, a super team, and 2 other all-stars just to get over the mountain. And even then, it took 2 years in Miami before he finally grabbed his first ring. That difference matters, because greatness isn't only about how you finish. It's about how you start. Jordan showed the world from day 1. LeBron needed almost a decade before he found the formula. Jordan was young too, but he never needed excuses or patience. Just a basketball and a court, and he would torch anyone in front of him. Jordan created the blueprint while LeBron has spent his career living off the model Jordan built. Jordan didn't just dominate in his prime, he defied time itself. At 40 years old, playing for the Washington Wizards on knees that carried him through 2 separate three-peats, Jordan became the first 40-year-old in NBA history to drop 40 points in a game. That wasn't just a record, It was a message to Father Time, proof that greatness lives in the DNA, not in the training staff or the technology. LeBron fans love bragging about his longevity, and yes, it's impressive. But LeBron has had every modern advantage. Cryotherapy, chefs, customized workouts, scientists monitoring his body, all the latest recovery tools money can buy. Jordan had none of that and still played through pain in a ruthless era. And even with every disadvantage, he showed up at age 40 and made history in a way LeBron hasn't come close to matching. When Jordan came back to the league after his second retirement, he wasn't trying to prove a single thing. He already had 6 championships and a legacy carved in stone. He returned purely out of love for the game, and even in a body that wasn't what it used to be, he still reminded the world what real greatness looks like. Dropping 40 at age 40 wasn't about chasing records. It was a reminder that even time couldn't erase who he was. The line that should end this whole debate is simple and brutal. Stephen A. Smith said it plain. LeBron James has been in the league 7 more years than Michael Jordan, and he's still chasing the crown. With all that extra time, all those games, and every modern advantage, LeBron still hasn't caught him. Not in dominance, not in finals perfection, not in cultural impact. Longevity is supposed to be the extra shine on a legendary career, but for LeBron, longevity has become the entire argument. If the best thing you can say about someone in the GOAT debate is he played longer, then you're not talking about the greatest. You're talking about someone who was durable. Jordan conquered the NBA in about 11 unmatched years, rewriting the record books, winning 6 championships, never losing in the finals, and turning basketball into a global phenomenon. LeBron has had 22 years to match what Jordan did in half the time, and he's still coming up short. If you were truly greater, you wouldn't need double the time to prove it. LeBron has spent 2 decades building a resume that's huge, but still feels incomplete because it constantly needs explaining, defending, and spinning. Jordan's resume stands untouched, clean, and undeniable. And LeBron hasn't just had more time. He's had more help than Jordan ever dreamed of. More All-Stars, more Hall of Famers, more stacked squads. Miami's Big Three. Cleveland with Kyrie and Kevin Love. The Lakers with Anthony Davis. LeBron has spent his career forming super teams and jumping situations, while Jordan stayed in Chicago, built with the same core, turned Scottie Pippen into a Hall of Famer, and dominated without shortcuts. And even with all those advantages, LeBron is still trailing. Stephen A. Smith dropped a line so sharp it cut every excuse in half when he said, "Everybody already recognizes LeBron as one of the top 3 players in history. What more do you want? A diaper and a bib." That line hit the whole debate like lightning. LeBron is great. Top 3 all time. Absolutely. But for his fans, that's never enough. They don't want respect. They want a crown. They don't want recognition. They want worship. Every milestone LeBron hits becomes a full-blown campaign moment where his camp floods the internet demanding everyone call him the GOAT. When he passed Kareem for the scoring record, it wasn't just a celebration. It was weaponized. Suddenly it became proof he's better than Jordan, even though the context says otherwise. Every single moment turns into a promo ad, and the constant begging for approval exposes something deeper: desperation. Jordan never needed any of that, and his fans didn't have to fight online for respect. The respect was automatic because the work was undeniable. When Jordan won his 6th championship and walked away, nobody questioned a single thing about his legacy. LeBron's career, on the other hand, has felt like a non-stop PR tour, where every achievement comes with a rollout, a press release, and a hype train. And the harder his camp pushes, the more obvious it becomes. The chase for validation is exhausting. The truly great never had to campaign. Magic Johnson changed the whole sport with Showtime, won 5 championships, and never once called himself the greatest point guard ever. Larry Bird dominated an entire era and stayed low-key. Kareem was the most unstoppable scorer the league had seen and let his skyhook do the talking. Bill Russell won 11 championships in 13 years and never shouted his greatness. And Kobe Bryant, the man who dedicated his life to chasing Jordan, still had the class to let other people decide where he ranked. Great players understood the code. You don't crown yourself the best, because the world will do it for you. LeBron broke that code the moment he looked at the unwritten rules of basketball royalty and decided they didn't apply to him. When that wasn't enough, his camp doubled down and turned his whole legacy into a marketing rollout. Like the story needed constant reminders just to stay alive. And the more they push it, the more hollow it sounds. Because when the truly great never had to say they were great, and the one chasing them can't stop saying it, the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Jordan's greatness became mythology because it was built on moments no one could forget, not on press releases or hashtags. His legacy sits on killer instinct, clutch domination, and a finals record that still stands untouched. LeBron's legacy, meanwhile, has started to feel like a documentary being filmed in real time, polished, curated, rehearsed, and the non-stop declarations feel less like confidence and more like someone trying to talk the world into believing something that isn't landing on its own. Jordan let history write his story, while LeBron is trying to write his with a pen in his own hand. LeBron James is the only all-time legend who has ever crowned himself the greatest of all time, and that detail alone tells you everything, because if you have to say it, push it, and campaign for it, then deep down, it probably isn't true. Greatness doesn't need advertising, it just exists. Jordan's focus stayed locked on one thing: winning and destroying anyone in his way. LeBron's focus has always been split, half basketball, half brand, and that divide shows in his legacy. It's massive, but still questioned. Impressive, but incomplete. Jordan's legacy was sealed the moment he hit that 6th championship shot and walked away. LeBron's legacy is still being debated, still being tweaked, still needing explanations. You can't crown yourself king if you never conquered the throne. LeBron has had every possible advantage. More years, more resources, more all-stars, more stacked lineups, better training, modern recovery, and a softer offensive tilted era. And even with all of that, he still can't match what Jordan did in a shorter, harsher, more unforgiving window. Jordan earned his crown through pressure, precision, and perfection. LeBron has tried to claim it through volume, longevity, and carefully crafted narratives. And that difference shows one legacy lives forever without needing defense, while the other needs a whole team working overtime just to keep the conversation going. This debate isn't about hate, it's about hierarchy. And at the very top of that hierarchy sits Michael Jordan. Untouchable, undeniable, immortal. LeBron James is a legend. Top 3 ever, no question, but the throne belongs to Jordan, and no amount of self-proclamation will ever change that. So the next time someone tries to convince you LeBron is the GOAT, just remember Stephen A. Smith's words. The man had 7 more years, every tool, every chance, and still couldn't catch him. Now tell me, what do you think? Is the debate officially over, or are we still pretending longevity equals dominance? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, share this video with every basketball fan you know, and hit subscribe so we can keep dropping the truth with no noise. See you on the next one.